One of the core services in many Azure-based solutions is the ability to create virtual machines. Just like you might create a VM in your own internal organization, this is the exact same feature, simply hosted through the Azure cloud. So let's have a little more detailed look at creating VMs in Windows Azure. We can just log into our portal, and we see on the left-hand side we've got virtual machines right here. So we just have to click there, and you can get started by clicking Create Virtual Machine here, or you can go down to your New option. It's the exact same, so we can click either one. So we see we've got Compute, Virtual Machine, and then two choices here that you can pick from. Either the gallery, which has a little more detailed options, or we can just choose Quick Create, and then we can configure some options after the fact. Let's have a quick look at the gallery, in fact. With that, you see that you have a number of images that are already supplied and available. Categories over here on the left-hand side for particular configurations. And also note that there's partner-supplied non-Windows operating system images available. So it's not just Windows images, so you can pick whatever suits your needs. And there's various options here for your own images and your own disks as well. So we'll just pick a fairly standard Server 2008 R2 Service Pack 1, and then basically we just have to continue clicking on the next buttons here. So we've got some version update option here. We can just pick various dates where there are updates released. We do have to give it a name, so I'm going to put in a name. And then you've got choices here as to the size options, and this is one thing that is going to, you have to pay a bit of attention to, because you do get charged different based on what size, what kind of resources are available. So we're just going to go maybe, let's say, with medium in this case, and then we're going to supply a username and password, of course. And when you're putting in the password, it will tell you whether or not you meet the criteria. And we'll hit next. So then there's some configuration options that you see here. It will by default create a new cloud service for you. So we can just leave that as it is. Our name is there. There's an affinity group that it creates as well, and we can specify one there. We can have a different region if we want to. I created an affinity group earlier, and under the storage account we can automatically generate one if we haven't created one already, and if we want we can create availability sets as well, so that we've got additional redundant sources. As for connecting into the machine through various utilities, such as Remote Desktop or PowerShell, we've got options here as to how that can be configured, and we'll look at some of those a bit later. But Remote Desktop and PowerShell are set up by default, and the port configuration is also set automatically. So we'll just leave those at their defaults as well. And that's our last option. We just have to click on OK. Now that will take maybe a few minutes before that provisioning is complete, but that system is now going to be set up and it will be accessible so that we can start configuring that virtual machine just like any other system that we might have. While that's provisioning, you see down here it's telling you your active progress, so we can click on here and it just tells us that it is creating that. So we can just click on that again to close it. And even while it's configuring, there's a couple of things that you can check on. You can go to see on images and disks. Once you get the VM up and running, you can add in images, you can add in disks that can be available for that virtual machine as well. So that's the basics of how we can set up a virtual machine in Windows Azure.